Her ex-husband would hit us.
Okay. Would your mother ever hit you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
That was 17-year-old Destiny Magana testifying at a preliminary hearing last week against her mother, Jennifer Dahlhover. Dahlhover is accused of killing her daughter, Destiny's younger sister, 2-year-old Tori Sandoval. We're discussing Tori's case tonight in a special edition of True Crime Stories that we call Lost in the System. Tori was in foster care when a court sent her back to her birth parents despite a history of alleged abuse and neglect. Joining us now is Destiny Magana, her sister Sky, and their grandmother Virginia Magana, who also testified at last week's hearing. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'll start with you. You testified against your own mother. I can't even imagine how difficult that must have been.
It was hard. I just wanted them to know what happened and how she was.
Yeah. And you both knew that there was an issue with this baby going back to your mom.
Yeah.
Did you raise that concern? What did you do?
We told them that we didn't want her to go back, but it was since that the judge ordered it, we couldn't really do anything about it.
What were your fears?
That she would get hurt.
You guys didn't live with your mom. How is it that you were able to not live with your mom? Were your voices heard?
We weren't living with her when the rest of the kids got taken away. So we were already placed in a home, basically.
Were you ever asked your opinion as to whether you wanted to be at home with your mom or not?
I don't remember.
Were you?
Yeah, I think so.
And what did you say?
No, that I didn't want to go back.
And Virginia, you have a feeling about the family court and the voices that children do or don't have. And you're the grandma to these girls.
I'm the grandmother. There's a total of 11 kids. The older children had a voice, and they were able to state what they wanted. They did not want to visit their mother. Children's Services insisted that they did, and they brought people out to transport them for their visits. Tori didn't have a voice, but she expressed her feelings by her emotions and the way she looked when she'd come back from a visit with her mom. And that was my greatest concern, and I stressed that, but nobody listened.
What do you think was going on? I mean, if everyone is raising concerns and saying, don't send this baby back, why weren't they listening? Why?
I have no idea. All I know is that there's 11 children. They all miss each other, and none of them have contact. Other than these 2 girls right here, the 5 that are in another home, and my grandson who's out somewhere else, and Nevaeh and Unique are in separate homes.
You must have a lot of anger.
I do. I have a lot of anger. I've known Jennifer since she was 17 years old. I feel like I've been a victim all these years from her. You know, manipulating me and telling me what to do, telling me when to jump, just so I could have the contact with my grandkids that I had.
You know, I got an email that says it was from Joseph, who is the biological father, Tori's biological father, talking about Jennifer. And the theme that I've heard is that Jennifer seems to have been very manipulative in the system with both husbands, boyfriends, family members, kids throughout her time. That's a theme that I keep getting through different people throughout. Do you think that she was able to manipulate the system?
Yes, I do. And I think she was guided to do that. I feel that she's very strong, very manipulative, and she got what she wanted.
It's still not enough, though, because really, when you think about it, these are experts, these are social workers. They've dealt with all kinds of cases that are similar to this. They should have known better.
And Linda Contis was there. She was the one who said, use common sense. She came out there and said, look at all of these reports, and she gave it to the court and gave it to the judge, and still, Tori was sent back.
What's the final message you want to send out?
The loss of Tori was devastating. It killed me. A big part of me went with her. And to tell the girls, to inform that information to them was hard.
Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you. And we'll be right back with more on Victoria's case and other children lost in the system after this.
Join Fox 11 and Hot 92.
Junior, eat like you mean it.
We're We're back now talking about children lost in the system, the crisis facing our children's and family courts. Our Fox 11 legal analyst Robin Sachs attended the hearing in Tori Sandoval's case, a 2-year-old girl whose birth parents are charged with killing her. Now, you were there. It seems like it'd be an easy case to prosecute, but it's not exactly true.
I mean, when you have a child that's dead, you would think, oh, that's a slam dunk easy case from the prosecution. But the prosecution, I have to give them a, major kudos, because it's really easy in a case like this to blame the Department of Children and Family Services, to blame courts and blame judges. By the way, all those people enjoy immunity, so if they make a mistake, they can't be sued, they can't be held personally responsible. Only actual professions in the world, if you're a doctor, you can get sued for negligence. If you're a lawyer, a regular lawyer can be sued for negligence, but not judges, not DCFS, and not law enforcement.
And that makes no sense, because in this case, it seems like they completely dropped the ball and a child is dead because of it.
They did, but what the prosecution did is, we can sit here and advocate for change and make sure that all of these voices, because Tori's case is not the only case, make sure that there is transparency, make sure that people are allowed in courtrooms, make sure the public does know about these things. But in addition, what the DA's office did by filing cases, they are also holding the individual people responsible. And the thing that makes this case somewhat complicated is that they have to prove, the prosecution has to prove that their actions actually caused the death. So that when someone gets killed with a gun, it's really easy, right? You shoot the gun, the person's dead, murder, right? But when it's something of things that they didn't do, neglect, failure to do, you have to show that those people did that.
Because they're claiming now that it was an accident.
Right. There's a lot of reasons for the cause of death, and when I listened to the testimony of the coroner, I mean, you heard, I listened to this excruciating testimony of, 14 different injuries and pummels to the stomach and abrasions everywhere. But the prosecution, what they need to prove is that those injuries were caused by Joseph and Jennifer. And now what's going to happen in this case is Jennifer's going to say Joseph did it, Joseph's going to say Jennifer did it, and the prosecution, is going to have to show that they both did it.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be a tough case, but clearly, how can you say it's an accident?
That's right, and one that needs to be done. I mean, the best witness that I heard was that coroner who, without emotion, doesn't know any of the people, were able to look at the evidence of injuries and made the conclusion that this wasn't just not only a death, but it was a death due to child abuse.
All right, Robin. Well, coming up, how you can get more information about Victoria Sandoval's case and the many issues surrounding children lost in the system of our children's courts.
It's fall. Fall brings longer nights. Longer nights to the season while you can. Only at Romano's Macaroni Grill.
If you want more information on Victoria's case, check out toristorch.org. We've done several stories about other children who've been lost in the system. Go to our website at myfoxla.com, click on the Features tab, then Lost in the System. Now, Robin, if there's one thing you want viewers to get, what is it?
I think that people need to realize that there is a complete lack of transparency. There's this desire for transparency out there. I mean, there's been all kinds of great orders in court saying, come in, watch what's going on, but yet those orders aren't necessarily maintained. And so what people need to do is just talk about it, to share it, so people realize this really does exist. This isn't one isolated case. This is happening all over the place.
Absolutely. When I first started doing these stories, you start to hear these stories, you're like, oh, that can't be true. But then you hear story after story after story.
That's right. And you and I, both of our email boxes are full. I'm even scared to say to email us with more, because we get so many of them on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Robin.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for us tonight. We hope we've helped you understand some of the issues and challenges in our children's court system. We'll be back with more true crime stories in the months ahead. Thanks for watching.